Uh, Good afternoon. As not we've been having load shedding since 8 in the morning, and our power is supposed to be back by 10:30, but they say there's something wrong with our power substation as well. So we've been running on backup power until now, and I think I'm only left with less than 30 minutes as well. So what I'm going to do is for our session, the most important things that I'm going to show you now is how to access the information on the website and exactly what sort of information I'm going to be giving you as well. Then I'll also quickly run down with you our schedule. Then when it comes to discussing in detail what to expect when it comes to the current material as well, I'll have to set up a different session specifically for that as well. So when it comes to Inv4801, you see that it's based on there is the old textbook that we're using, and then there's a new textbook that is being used as well. So the problem that we've been having, especially when you look at our dilemma with the students who wrote in February this year, was that assignment 1 for last year, so they introduced a new textbook for the 2022 students. But when you look at assignment 1 for last year and assignment 2 for last year as well, they were based on the old textbook. And when you look at the based on the old textbook, the material in the new textbook, yes, there is some material which is in the new textbook, but the way it's presented is a little bit different, and the way they do the analysis is a little bit different. There are more chapters in the new textbook than the old textbook. So when you look at the way that they put the assignments, the assignments for the year 2022 were purely based on past years question papers and also assignments, although they introduced a new textbook. So that's where there was a bit of confusion last year on exactly, so what is it that we need to do? Do we need to use the old textbook, or do we need to use the new textbook as well? Then now, when we did revision, we covered some past question papers based on the old textbook, and then we also did some practice questions based on the new textbook as well. So because we're not sure exactly how they're going to bring about the questions in the exam, then when they brought the exam in the Jan-Feb period, it was purely based on the old textbook. So it was questions that had been recycled from the previous question papers and previous assignments as well. So even now, coming into the 2023 group as well, we're not sure whether we should stick with the old textbook or go on and to use the new textbook. Because if you really look at it, we spent the greater part of last year doing material in the new textbook, and then they brought in assignments that were based on the old textbook, and then they brought in exam questions that were also based on the old textbook as well. So we're not sure what is it that they really expect of us in the current year. So because of that dilemma, what we've decided to do for this year is that with you, until we get the questions of the first assignment, we are going to make the new curriculum and the old curriculum's videos available. So you see that there are going to be 2 profiles for Inv4801 when you register with us, when you create a user account with us. One is based on the old textbook, and the second one is based on the new textbook, because as it stands right now, we're not sure. So to be safe, rather we give you all that information. So you see that when you check on your user account, there's going to be 2 profiles, one based on the new textbook and the other one based on the old textbook, because we're not sure. Until we see the questions for the first assignment, that's when we can judge to say, maybe they're still sticking to the old textbook, or maybe they want us to use the new textbook. But all along, the lecturer was saying everything's going to be based on the new textbook. The exam is going to be based on the new textbook. But when the questions came, they were based on the old textbook as well. So we're not sure, and that's where our dilemma is when it comes to Inv4801. We're not sure. And based on past history, in recent history as well, it's giving us, we're a bit we're very, very wary of exactly, we're not sure exactly, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding that as well. So you'll see that when we create a user account for you, for Inv4801, there's going to be two profiles, one based on the new textbook and one based on the old textbook, until we see the first assignment. Until they send us the question for the first assignment, that's when we'll know. So our judgment would be, if the questions for the first assignment are purely based on the old textbook, we assume we're going to concentrate on the old textbook. But if the questions on the first assignment are purely based on the new textbook, or if we see that these questions are basically based on the new textbook, then we are going to base it on the new textbook. So that's where where our dilemma is when it comes to this module. So now, so you see that on the old textbook, the chapters that we did, or that you are going to be seeing on the old textbook under the profile for the old textbook as well, is the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then after chapter 8, we skip everything else and move on to chapter 12, because that's basically how it was structured. So it's chapters 1 to 8, then we skip chapters 9 and 10 and 11, then we did chapter 12. So those are the chapters that were done in the previous textbook. So these are the chapters where, when you look at the videos are going to be based on these 12, on these chapters, up to chapter 12, skipping chapters 9, 10, and 11. Then on the new textbook, you will see that based on the new textbook is going to be looking at, there are going to be 11 topics, and in the 11 topics, there is basically 18 chapters that you're expected to do. So the other thing that we also saw on the new textbook is that in the previous textbook, for Inv4801, you were only looking at 9 chapters. But when you look at the new textbook now, they expanded those 9 chapters, where you're now expected to look at 18 chapters in the new textbook. So I don't know how they expect you to compress all that information and experience a big jump from 9 chapters to 18 chapters as well, unless they've corrected that as well. So I'm still waiting for an update regarding this as well. So far, from the base of videos,
just a quick question. So the 18 chapters, is it the same content that was compressed in 9 chapters in the old textbook? Or no. Are we saying the content itself expanded like by 100%?
The content itself has expanded.
Yeah, okay.
So the content itself has expanded, because so you see the reason why they have to change the textbooks is mainly because they want to keep the curriculum relevant to what is happening currently as well. So you will see that the chapters that are in the new textbook, they are also trying to address the new trends in the investment management field. Reason being, the previous the CFA, the Inv4801 curriculum is based on CFA curriculum. To be more precise, it's based on CFA level 3 curriculum when you look at investment portfolio management. So remember, for CFA level 3, there are topics that you need to do, and of those topics, one of the topics that you're supposed to do with its own textbook, it's investment portfolio management. So that's basically what it's based on. So because the CFA curriculum, they always try to keep up to date with what's happening with the new trends in the investment field as well. You will see that the new textbook is very much updated with a lot of new material and a lot of analysis as well, and new material. There's basically a lot more new material compared to the previous textbook. So it's 18 chapters, and even when you look at those 18 chapters as well, they are quite long compared to the previous textbook. Because even if you look at the study units that are covered there, when you look at learning unit 1 was not in the previous textbook, learning unit 2 was not in the previous textbook, then topic 3 it was, but they are looking at it in more detail. Topic 4 it was, but they're looking at it in more detail. Topic 5 was not in the previous textbook. Topic 6 it was, learning unit 9 was in the previous textbook, but this one was basically covered as part of a chapter, but now it's being looked at separately. Then topic 7, you see that it was one chapter which is now being looked at in detail as learning units 11, 12, and 13. So in the previous textbook, it was one chapter, which was very straight to the point. But now, in the new textbook, they are basically going more in depth with the analysis when it comes to equity portfolio management. So this is where, because if you look at the previous textbook, when you look at equity was covered under chapter 7, equity portfolio management. That's basically what was covered. Under chapter 7, they were looking at equity portfolio management. So it was only covered under one chapter, and it was not as long as the chapters that we see. But now, equity portfolio management is coming in as 3 chapters, and they are basically going more in depth with analysis as well. Then from there, topic 8, I don't think it was covered in the previous textbook. Topic 9, it was not covered in the previous textbook. So topic 10, yeah, they made a typo here. Topic 10, which looks at institutional portfolio management, it was covered in the previous textbook, but with the way they covered it, it's not as in-depth as, because it was covered as part of a chapter in the previous textbook. Now it's standing as its own chapter as well, which means that they're going more in depth when it comes to this chapter as well. Then topic 11, it was covered in the previous textbook, although they are basically going further and bringing on new theorems as well when you compare the previous textbook and the new textbook. So that's where our dilemma is, that the new textbook is got 18 chapters that you're expected to cover. They're quite long. There's a lot of in-depth analysis that is expected. But the old textbook has got 9 chapters, although they're long, but they're not as long and in-depth as compared to the previous textbook. So that's basically where our dilemma is. And if you look at the material covered in the new textbook and the old textbook, over time, when you're now going to look at the Jan-Feb 2023 paper, and when you look at the assignments that were brought in the year 22 as well, there's a bit of a disparity there. So I'm hoping that this year the lecturer will be able to address these issues and concerns as well. But usually it just tells you, no, everything is based on the new textbook. But then when it comes to the exam, that's where there's a bit of an issue there. So I'm hoping that there's a bit more clarity regarding that for this year. So you'll see that when you enroll with us, we'll give you 2 profiles, one based on the old textbook and the other one based on the new textbook, until we see the questions for the first assignment. So I'm trying to use the first assignment questions as a sign on exactly which direction they are expecting us to take as well. Because if the questions are purely based on the old textbook, then we are going to lean more on the old textbook, although I will still make the new textbook material available as well. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Any questions? Okay. All right. So that's
just
where.
a question. So I saw the tutorial letter that they sent out. Is there any other communication that is supposed to come before the first assignment from UNISA, or is this the end of it?
They say you just have to check the discussions. If you check on my UNISA, there's usually discussions and announcements made by the lecturer. You just have to constantly check there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? All right. Now, remember I said that my time is very limited because my power has been out since 8 o'clock. So I've been using backup electricity from 8 o'clock in the morning as well, and it's starting to run out. I'm left with something less than 30 minutes as well. So I need to make sure that I also give you the most important things to go through so that you know exactly what to expect. Now, when it comes to our schedule, you will see that our schedule is given on our website. And if you check on our website, you go to Honors Financial Management and Investment Management timetable. If you click on that, you will see that for Inv4801, we already have the full schedule until you write your exams, until we've complete until end of October before we go on to the revision program. We already the schedule and the timetable is already been shared there as well. So for this, for Inv4801, you will see that assignment 1, we're going to have a class for assignment 1 where we're going to address assignment 1. And that class is going to be on the 29th of April, and it's going to be from 8 to 12 midday. So we're going to be having a class where we're going to go through assignment 1, and it's going to be on the 29th of April. Then on the 25th of June, we're going to have a class where if our curriculum is based on the old textbook, we have a class to cover chapters 1 to chapter 5. So we're going to be having a class to review anything that you found difficult when you did chapters 1 to chapter 5. And we're going to be having that class on the 25th of June from 8 to 12 midday. Then if it's based on the old curriculum, we're going to be having a class to cover learning unit 1 to learning unit 9, because that's basically halfway through the curriculum as well. Then from there, we are going to be having another session where on the 22nd of July, we're going to be having a class to go through assignment 2, because I think the assignment 2 is due in August. I already have the dates for Inv4801. I already have the assignment dates, and because of that, I was able to prepare the full schedule of what you need when we're going to be having sessions until we finish the curriculum as well. So on the 22nd of July, we're going to have a session from 8 to 12 midday where we're going to be looking at assignment 2 together in class. So when we go through the assignments, remember you already have the questions. I'll go through the questions with you, and then I would have already prepared a Word document with answers as well. So I would have prepared a Word document with answers. So what we do is that when we go after each class, I will make available a video going through that, going through the questions for the assignment. Then I'll also make available a Word document that will also share on the WhatsApp group as well, where you're able to see to have a look at the answers, how the answers were presented as well, so that you can use those answers as a template to create your own answers for the assignment as well. So that's basically how we're going to go through the curriculum when it comes to our the assignments as well. My laptop is already switched off because of lack of power. Then if you check on our website as well, you see that on the 14th of October, we're going to have another session. And in that particular session, we're going to be reviewing the things that we had not reviewed when we did the other session as well, which means that if it's based on the new textbook, we'll be reviewing learning units 10 to 18, if it's based on the new textbook. And if it's based on the old textbook, we're going to be looking at reviewing chapters 6, 7, 8, and then chapter 12 as well. So if it's based on the old textbook, we'll review chapters 6, 7, 8, and then chapter 12. But if it's based on the new textbook, we'll review learning units 10 to 19 as well. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 14th of October. Then I'm going to make another timetable available as well. Then on that particular timetable, it's basically when we're going to be going through the revision sessions. Now for our revision sessions, we're going to be having a class where we go through the Jan-Feb 2023 paper. Then we have another class where we go through the May-June 2023 paper. Then we have another class where we are going to be reviewing the 2023 assignments. Remember, at the end of each year, the lecturer makes available the memo to the assignments as well. So during the revision period, we're going to be reviewing assignment 1 and assignment 2 in classes as well, so that you're able to see exactly what was expected of you when it comes to the answers for assignment 1 and assignment 2, so that you're able to use that as well as part of your revision as well. Then over and above this material as well, what we're also going to do is that we will also make available the videos of where we go through the past question papers. And the videos that we have currently is from 2018 to 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 papers. So for those years as well, the question papers and memos, they are there already. We'll share those question papers and memos with you. Over and above that, there is also videos going through the Jan-Feb papers and the May-June papers as well. So those videos will be made available to you as well, so that you're able to have those videos and access them, so that you don't have issues accessing those videos when it comes to your revision. Because remember, you're going to be utilizing those videos and the question papers and the memos with the question papers as well as part of your revision material that you're going to be utilizing. Then during the January period as well, we are also going to have another discussion class. It's going to be for a lot of hours as well. I can't remember exactly how many hours, but we're going to be having another discussion class. And when we have that discussion class as well, what we're going to do is that you are now going to be, remember, as you're going through the revision question papers over the Christmas period as well, you will be highlighting things that you find difficult. And then during that discussion class, we go over any questions that you might have, and so that we're able to answer those questions that you might have and address any issues that you might have that you came across when you were doing the revision as well. Then over the course of the year, and even during the revision period as well, if there's anything that you find difficult, you have my WhatsApp number. Send me a WhatsApp message or WhatsApp message as well, and I'll be able to respond to that my WhatsApp message. And if it's something that needs to be addressed, where I feel like there's a lot of issues that students are having, depending on exactly how many queries I receive as well, I can also quickly set up a session where we can be able to discuss any issues that you might have or that you might come across when you're going through the material as well. So that's basically our plan on how we're going to be looking at Inv4801. So please don't be puzzled when we create a user account for you on our website and you realize that there is two profiles for Inv4801, because there's going to be one profile where which is going to be based on the old textbook, and another profile which is also going to be based on the new textbook as well. So that's basically how we're going to go about it until we see the first assignment. So our feel of exactly what we're expected to do for this coming year as well is going to be based on what type of questions are they going to bring for the first assignments. If they're going to be based on the previous assignments and previous question papers as well, it basically means that highly likely the exam would be based on the old textbook, which means that we are going to concentrate on the old textbook. But if it's going to be based on where the assignments are going to be having new questions based on the new textbook as well, it basically means that we're going to be aligning ourselves more towards the new textbook. So for us to be able to do that, we need to have a look at the questions for the first assignment. Are there any questions? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the video of what we've discussed so far. Then over and above that as well, I'm going to create a video to guide you on exactly how to access your material on our website. So I will share a video to guide you to say, this is how you create a user account, and this is how you're able to access the material on our website, for you to be able to access the videos of the curriculum, for you to be able to download the soft copies of the textbooks, and for you to be able to access the revision material and any other material that you might need to access as well. So I'm going to create another video shortly so that I also give you that to guide you on exactly how to go about our website. So my homework is I'm going to share a link on the on the WhatsApp groups. Then on that particular link, if you could follow that link and create a user account. So you click on register, and when you click on register, you indicate your email, your username, and you create your password. Then what you do now is you send me a direct WhatsApp message where you indicate your email and the modules that you want me to link you. Because remember, if you just create a user account, we would not know whose user account it is, and would not know which modules you want us to link as well. And please take note as well that until the 31st of March, we are giving free access to our website. So we're basically giving free access to our website, which means that you are going to be able to access the website. When you create the user account on our website, you're going to be able to access the material that is available on the website, because we have made certain videos. We have created limited access to some of the material on our website as well that you need for you to be able to go through the first few chapters of the textbooks. So because of this, it basically means that would encourage you to create the user account and then indicate to me what your email address is and which modules you want us to link, so that you're able to start going through the material. But please try as much as possible to make sure that you register before the 31st of March, because after the 31st of March, if you're not registered officially with us, we cut off your access as well. So please ensure that you are able to access to register with us officially. And for you to be able to register with us officially as well, we'll need your email address. Then we'll send you the registration form. You fill in the registration form and then you send it back to us. Then officially you would be registered with us as well. Are there any questions?
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already paid for the month. Does that mean I get a credit up until 31st of March?
So what happens is you are able to access the material, but remember, even if you've already paid for the month, it's going to contribute towards your final fees as well. Because remember, your fee is 1,500, which you can pay in installments of 150 Rand over a 10-month period, which will also add up to 1,500. So whether you pay now your fees or you wait until the end of the month to pay your fees as well, if you're going to pay on a monthly basis, it's still up to you.
Okay. So specifically for me now, that means I'm sorted in terms of registration and everything else.
Everything should be sorted. Because if you have already paid your fees, it basically means that you should have received an email confirming your invoice, and you should have already received an email confirming that your user account is created as well. Once we have that, it basically means that once we see that your invoice has been created, although even if you have not paid, once your invoice has been created, it basically means that you're confirming that you are registered with us. So we will not block you. But if you have not created, if you have not sent back the registration form to us as well, it basically means that after the 31st of March, your access would be blocked.
Okay. I just want to check now in terms of study approach. So there's the stuff that you obviously going to take us through. I just want to get guidance from you in terms of in between. Are we supposed to be reading the textbook, making notes? What would be your recommended approach to tackle this module over and above the stuff that we're going to cover in the key?
Go through the videos. Yes.
So the videos are sufficient.
Go through the videos, because remember, in the videos, we are going through the textbook with you.
Yeah.
So when you go through the video, it's more like you're attending the classes. So make sure that you just go through the videos, because when you look at the videos, it's basically a class that was conducted where we were going through the material in the textbook, and we look at it and explain in detail what is expected of you as well. So we'd advise you to go to the video as well. And remember, on the date that I've indicated there, where we're going to be reviewing the first few chapters of the textbook, it basically means that by that date, you should have gone through the videos, because the flow would be on you to ask questions on things that you didn't understand when you went through the videos as you were going through the curriculum as well.
Okay, no, that's fine. And then in terms of testing your knowledge as you go, are there questions in the textbook, or how do you go about checking that, yes, what you watched in the
textbook, the textbook does have questions. The textbook that does have questions. So you'll see that for the students for this current year, what we're planning to do is that in testing you to ensure that you're up to date with everything, before the session that we're going to be having sometime end of June, early July, I can't remember the exact date there, we are going to create questions specifically covering the first half of the textbook. So we're going to pick questions covering the first half of the textbook, and then on that particular session as well, we go through those questions, so that we are going to be using those questions, which means that as you go to the textbook, it basically means that we will be telling you that this is the question relevant for this study unit, and this question is covering this study unit and that study unit and this. So which means that the moment you finish those study units, go through the questions that we are going to give you. Then when we have that session, we're just going to be going through the questions together with you so that you're able to review and recap as well.
Okay, cool.
You're right. Are there any other questions?
Yes, I do have a question, or two questions, sorry. I think the first one is related to the textbook. Will the course be giving us some sort of copy of the textbook so we can reference it, or should we go ahead and buy it? That's question one. Question two is with regards to payment, can it be done on the website, on your website directly?
So what happens is that with the textbook, remember we're saying that we're giving students free access to our website until the 31st of March. When you click on the website, I'm going to create a video. It's just that unfortunate that we're having power issues in our area. When you click on the website, when you create a user account and you click on the your module, right, you will see that there's a tab which says Inv books. And on that, if you click on that tab, it takes you to a Google link to the Google Drive, and you're able to download those books. So you're able to access the soft copies of those textbooks as well. So you might not need to buy, unless if you want a hard copy of the textbook. Otherwise, we do have the soft copies of those textbooks as well.
Great, thanks.
All right.
Actually, as a follow-up,
the second question was, what was it to do with?
Payment of the...
All right. So what you do is
website.
that once you see, for us to be able to link your payment, it basically means that on the website, there's a way of registering on the website, because if you click on the module and you choose your package there, you're able to register on the website, just like when you're buying things online on Check-A-Lot as well. So that's the platform that we also use. Another way of registering, if you're not able to use that one, you just send us your email address, and then we'll send you the registration form. And then you fill in the registration form. You don't need to sign it. You just fill in the registration form. As long as we can see that it's coming from your official email address, that you're going to be using when you're registered with us as well, you are going to be that's basically how we're going to be processing the registration, because we now have to do it manually for you as well and create everything for you. So those are the two ways that you can register as well.
Great, thank you so much.
All right.
Sorry, actually, the gentleman just made me realize something else. On the tutorial, they also talk about the workbook. Do we need the workbook?
Yes. So the workbook is basically the one with answers to because remember, in the new textbook, at the end of each chapter, there is questions. And the answers to these questions are given in the workbook. But we have a soft copy, but we do have a soft copy of that workbook as well. It's
not on the website, I checked.
No. You need to create a user account first. Then when you create a user account, when you go to Inv, the tab which says Inv textbooks, that's when you're going to be able to download it. But directly on the website,
account, I did go to that link there, and there's a link there that says workbook, but when you click on it, it takes you to the main textbook. It's not the workbook.
I'll check, but it should be there. I'll cross check again to make sure that it's available. I'll cross check.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a question, but it's not related to this course. I don't know whether I should ask it if it's okay.
You might as well.
Okay, so Fin 4801. Sorry, no, Fin 4802. You provide tuitions as well on that subject, right?
Yes, we do. We had a session between 11 to 2 today.
Right. Okay. So I've got a bit of a dilemma where I didn't make it and I need to do a sub. Do you
When are you writing?
I think it'll probably be May, June.
All right. We have a profile specifically meant for students not doing the AgroCAT exams. So we have a profile meant for students who are doing the AgriCAT exam. What you can do is please send me a message directly on my WhatsApp number. Then I will talk to you from there.
Sure, I'll do that. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Are there any other questions? All right. If there are no questions, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll make sure that I keep in communication with you on the WhatsApp groups as well. And please ensure that you create a user account on our website so that you're able to access all this information. Remember, we're not expecting a payment obligation in the month of March, which basically means that you are able to access all that material as well, so that you're able to start studying in advance as well. All right, enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Cheers.